James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is, to put it straight, a foul-mouthed, batshit crazy, ultra-violent, absurd, balls-to-the-wall nuts new entry into the DCEU, into the ever-growing line of comic book films, into the always expanding halls of cinema. Yeah, Marty, I said it. Honestly guys, this was one of the most enjoyable times I've had at the cinemas, probably in recent years. The last time I enjoyed myself that much inside a cinema was probably something like Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or even, dare I say, Avengers Endgame. And trust me guys, anyone who knows me knows that I go to the cinema like a lot. It's basically a second home for me. But anyways, this film has been out for a good couple of weeks now, so hopefully you have seen it, because there are going to be a ton of spoilers littered throughout the duration of this video. So if you haven't seen The Suicide Squad, what are you waiting for? Go and check it out in a cinema hopefully, because it's brilliant and really doesn't deserve to continue bombing at the box office. Once you have, feel free to come back to this video and continue watching. But anyways, if you are still here, I'm assuming you've seen the film, so fasten your seatbelts and let's jump straight into why I loved The Suicide Squad. Alright, so we all know how this goes. The Suicide Squad, otherwise referred to as Task Force X, are an elite group of bad guys, anti-heroes, outcasts, oddballs, arseholes, whatever you want to refer to them as, are sent on a super dangerous mission by this person, Amanda Waller, who has them all under threat of imminent death via tiny bombs implanted at the base of each of their skulls. You know the drill. Which is why at the first 12 minutes and 14 seconds into this film, after we've just witnessed a sequence that I can only describe as one that combines the sheer insanity and unpredictability of the beach opening of Saving Private Ryan with the ludicrous nature and straight up absurdity of the X-Force's debut in Deadpool 2. Remember this? We're sitting there completely baffled as to how the fuck this all just happened in front of our eyes, and where the hell we're gonna go from here.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot Idris Elba and John Cena were in this film, and don't lie, you did too. Like I said, and like how the title of this video states, The Suicide Squad is just nuts. And it really doesn't take James Gunn that long to let the audience know that anyone, and I mean anyone, with the possible exception of Harley Quinn, can die at any point during the remainder of this film. Boom. Talk about how to start your motherfucking movie. Speaking of James Gunn, he is without a doubt the centerpiece of what makes this film work as well as it does. Now, that might sound like an obvious statement since, at the end of the day, he's the fucking director of this thing. You know, the captain of the ship, as one would say. But my point is, whenever I think of this movie, I really don't think of it as something that is part of a larger franchise, or a film that necessarily tries to connect to any of its predecessors. And that's because Gunn is just so committed to the here and now of this story and these characters whom it feels like he shares a personal connection and familiarity with. The oddballs, the misfits, the outcasts, the not so popular kids. Now, that's not to say that there's no world building whatsoever. In fact, I recall some pretty awesome nuances here and there, like, you know, the fact that Bloodsport has shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet.
Dope as fuck.
I mean, that is just so fucking cool, man. There's also the origin of Polka Dot Man being connected to Star Labs, or, you know, even this little costume detail on Harley's jacket that reads, "Live fast, die clown." But Gunn uses these so sparingly, which is why the writing here feels so natural, instead of being this, you know, rigid, cringe and unbelievably forced mess that the first film was. But the injection of James Gunn's personality and unique voice doesn't just stop at the writing, no. One of his biggest strengths is, of course, the unique visual style he brings, and what he and DP Henry Braham are able to accomplish here, how they're able to truly capture the essence of a comic book, is something few filmmakers have tried and even fewer have been able to pull off. The refined movement of the camera, the diverse colour palette, I mean, just take a look at some of these shots. I couldn't even tell you what my favourite from this whole film was because I'm so spoilt for choice. Is it this? Is it this? How about this? 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 What about this? Or even this, which, by the way, it's one thing to have an idea to showcase a fight scene through the reflection of the helmet, but it's a completely different matter to be able to pull it off, and man, with a little help of special effects wizardry, it works with flying colours. So of course there is huge emphasis on spectacle filmmaking with the Suicide Squad, but never at a cost to the characters. Each of them get just enough time and backstory for you to understand, to connect, to level with them. Even Starro the Conqueror isn't a straight up kaiju catastrophe, no, there's actually a shiver of sadness to his place in all of this. And yes, when it's time to give us some incredible moments of action, of course the squad delivers. Some standouts for me were the opening beach sequence, the face-off between Bloodsport and Peacemaker when seeing who could get the most badass kill, King Shark just going beast mode and slaughtering anyone in his way, Rick Flag versus Peacemaker, the squad versus Starro, and of course what is easily the greatest Harley Quinn sequence thus far. Speaking of Harley, I actually have no idea how James Gunn turned her into what was essentially this horny renegade Disney princess, but you know what, it fucking worked. I will say though that whilst I do love myself some satisfying comic book action, I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say that my favourite moments from the film were actually the smaller ones. The moments where our heroes weren't being superhumans, but in fact human. The moments where they're being vulnerable with each other, like the scene on the bus and the surfacing of those character-driven story beats. Whether that'd be Nanawe's constant longing for friends, or Bloodsport's transition from this heartless mercenary to a leader and, quite frankly, a father figure for the group. Or Ratcatcher 2's backstory and huge heart that she wears so proudly on her sleeve throughout. Now come to think about it guys, and to wrap up this video, I would probably say that the club scene right in the middle of the film might be my favourite because not only does it bring a smile to my face every time I see it, but it's one part of the movie where the plot and the mission, the reason why these characters are here, all fade away. And just for a few moments they can forget about everything else, you know, they're not thinking about a world-ending alien threat, they're not thinking about corrupt governments, not about family issues, not about the bomb implanted in the back of each of their skulls, not anything. They can just have a good time, and that is exactly what I had and have every time that I watch James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
I can't sleep, I hope I stay awake.